Sara, Sevigny, and Antoine, McKay. And we're available for questions.
Let me just toss the first one out. Kyle, you're not from Rogers Park.
No, I'm not.
So what are you doing making a movie about Rogers Park?
Well, I mean, it's actually, Carlos and I are partners, creative partners, also romantic partners. And it's the only neighborhood we've ever lived in Chicago. So we came here in 2010. I got a tenure-track job at Northwestern University. And we came out here for a week and looked at a bunch of places. And then we actually forgot where the place was that we liked a lot, because you have to look at all these like online photographs. And so when the moving van came and dropped us off at Light Street, we were like, wait, what neighborhood are we in again? But yeah, over the course of 7 years, we've really fallen in love in the neighborhood. We bought a condo in the neighborhood. For me, it's a special place, and also it's great to make a film, you know, in your own backyard.
Just one other little follow-up. I mean, what was it about Rogers Park? You said a special place. I mean, what does it mean to you? Why is it the title of your film? You know, which I think gives it even extra weight.
I mean, it's known as, and you can Google this, you know, the most diverse neighborhood in Chicago. The most languages are spoken there. The most opportunities, I think, that you have in a city that's, you know, dare I say, still pretty segregated, to actually have the ability to run in on a daily basis to people who are very much maybe not like you, not from the culture that you're from. It's a huge immigrant population. We had a great casting company, PR casting, Pascal Rudnicki casting, and when I went there, Carlos and I had sort of the idea for this. We told them that we wanted to workshop a film, which we did over the course of a year to come up with this sort of story. We wanted to see actors who wanted to be in a film about midlife crisis, and we wanted to see a range of actors who were as diverse as the neighborhood in which we lived. And it just so happened that the 4 actors that we picked to play our 2 midlife crisis couples happened to be 2 black, white, interracial couples. It was we didn't know if the couples were going to be gay, straight. We didn't know what ethnicity they were going to be. We just knew we wanted to tell a story about midlife crisis. So.
Here you go.
Yeah. Well, listen. Adult life. Hey, come on, people. Like, midlife used to be in the 1970s. You'll get like 1970s books and like midlife crisis onset 35. Yeah, I know we're living a lot longer, but come on. I'm 47. I'm solidly, you know, in the range. You know, you kind of see the fact that you're not going to go back to your 20s. Let's put it that way. So yeah, as hard as some people might try, there's no going back.
Questions? Yes.
Were the interiors also at Rogers Park?
Half of them, or at least more than half of them. I mean, we shot within the alderman's office. Our apartment, we shot a whole week and a half in. That was the one on the 3rd floor apartment, which is right next to the Heartland Cafe. But some of the other locations are outside, maybe just outside. I told the location scout I really didn't want to go more than like 10 minutes in a car anywhere from my home in the morning. So if you drew a pencil and kind of did a circle around our house, we're pretty much in a 10-minute drive.
Another question? Yes, ma'am. That's you.
The bookstore. We have a bookstore, but that didn't look like our bookstore.
Well, that bookstore is actually Squeezebox Books, which is in Evanston, But to protect the innocents, you know, we changed the name.
Other questions?
There's not a therapist's office above Squeezebox.
At the end, it seemed like the one couple was on more of a upward trajectory, and the people with the kids and everything, they were kind of going, but they both seemed to be on the road to resolving their problems. But they did kind of which
Right.
position.
So, yeah, question, and I think, yeah, everyone can really address this, right, about the crossing of trajectories of the two couples. We've talked to you guys and then about the script, how that develops.
I mean, obviously, great films are about people, you know, coming together, growing apart. But it was really, it's really great that you noticed that, because that journey was very, very, it was very tough to tackle and go through that emotionally. I remember once we wrapped the film, I was sitting at home like 2 days later, just laying on the floor exhausted because emotionally going through that journey was amazing. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're that right.
Yeah. Communication is difficult, and things change, people change, and relationships change. And if you're willing to change with it, then good for you. And if you're not, well, good for you too, maybe. We were interested in having. I was interested early on in seeing one couple who seemed to have it all together, maybe didn't have so easy a time. Another one that seemed like they were having a lot of trouble, maybe doing a little better. I feel like I've been in all those places. So for me, all of it's very personal, and thanks for noticing. That was definitely a structure to the film.
And you're fighting so hard for there to be a different ending, you know, as we were even going through it. You know, you're really fighting for them to make it and for them to come back together, because you can see that they're just not listening. They're just not listening to each other, you know. And so it's really challenging and also really exciting to be able to play a character that you're actually fighting for them to have a different resolution. Yeah.
We are shooting that right now.
In the back, see, yeah.
Hey, congratulations.
Thank you.
Can you talk a little bit about the process of developing the story with your actors? Because the dialogue and the development of the characters was so natural, and it felt very authentic to each person, speaking in their own voice. The voices were really, really different. Can you talk a little bit about that process? I think that you chose some specific things in that regard.
Well, this is the first time I've worked this way. Before, I always try to incorporate a lot of realism into my work, but I wanted to work in a more collaborative fashion. So I cast 4 actors, like I said, the summer before we shot, like a year in advance. And we worked through a week-long workshop experience where we developed biographies and sort of lived through the biography of their life up to the point that the film would begin. So they went on their first blind date at Heartland Cafe and did an hour-long improvisation mic'd in the field, and we recorded that. They had their first fight on the street, you know, in public. Oh, you have other stories?
Well, yeah, when we had our first PDA, where we're holding hands and we're walking down to the lake, as we are walking down the street, Antoine, he runs into a friend of his wife that they go to church together, and she sees us holding, and she does this, hi! And we can't break character, and then she sees that there's a man following us that's got like earphones on and is recording, and then she didn't call your wife. Or did she? Did you call your wife?
She called her. Yeah, that was, I got home and my wife was like, you and the girl with the hat at the beach? I was like, I was working, honey. She was like, yeah, okay. That's all I'm going to say about that conversation.
Can I ask a cool question? One of the things that's admirable about the film is that they're interracial couples, but you don't foreground that, and yet I wanted to know, as the actors, like, how did you address it but not address it, or how did you not address it but address it?
That's the one thing I would say I really love about the film and how we even approached it. It's in the process. Kyle never made it an issue. And it was just about people and how no matter who you are or where you're from, like love and relationships are all this, we all can connect to that. And it was beautiful because she was just my wife. She wasn't my white wife. It was just us, and it was great.
Yeah, and what was interesting was that there was more focus on the familial things. Like if you saw, which I didn't recognize until I saw the whole film put together, that Jonny, who played Chris, and when we're fighting, we're both in that same kind of like, you know, attack mode. And then you see Dina and Zeke, and they're both like exhausted. So it was different personalities more than anything else. You know what I mean? And I think that was really resonating throughout.
I will say, through the process of making it, through the cutting it too, and through most of my films, I try to put in what I would call political contextual material in the background. So if you listen to sort of what's on the radio, what's on the TV, what they're listening to, there's a lot going on here in Chicago that does involve race and does involve the legacy and the history of racism. So I'm not saying, you know, through these couples, somehow magically these problems are going to be transcended. But I do feel that people try to live their lives personally the best they can as these things play out, you know, in the background of their lives until they become foregrounded through some sort of crisis. And we did started making this movie, you know, 2 years before Trump, not to mention the man who should go unmentioned. But it was a kind of like when we were editing this and the election started playing out and everything else, I was like, oh God, like, you know, the world is somewhat changing now in some regards. And I wondered, you know, what would change about the way people perceived these characters or these relationships or these problems when the exterior world pivots, you know, over the course of 2 years. I don't know.
We got time for one more. Yeah. Whoever. Okay.
In the middle of the room. Alderman in the middle of the room.
I always like sitting in the middle.
It's so great you're here.
Oh, let me tell you, I really, really enjoyed the film.
Thank you.
And you mentioned the word authentic. I thought it was very authentic portrayal of Rogers Park. It caught the feel and the milieu of the neighborhood. I thought caught the relationships and the complexity of relationships and the struggle to succeed in a relationship and make it work. You know, so I'll forgive you for filming a few scenes outside of Rogers Park. Okay? I was trying to figure out where the heck that bookstore was. Now I know. I forgive you because you caught it really well. And you even caught the squeaky door in my office, which I thought was very cool. You didn't oil it, so I appreciate that. One question though, do you happen to know that if the alderman in the film knew that his staff assistant was fooling around during work hours?
Well, I don't know. I mean, have you ever had an assistant who's,
How close
I don't know.
How close staff do you keep on your staff?
Good point, good point.
I'm afraid
I'll have to grill them later on.
yeah, we're out of time, but let's try and just keep the conversation going. These guys will be around for a little bit.
Sure, and if you
Thank you.
If you want to do us a favor, we will be playing here again in Chicago in the winter. Please go onto Facebook, Rogers Park Film, or Twitter, Rogers Park Film, and like the film. It really does help build momentum to have people who actually like the film like the pages on social media. So Rogers Park Film is the tag. Thank you.
Fill out your cards, your audience cards, and thank you so much.